Thursday, or as I like to call it, Throat Punch Thursday. I heard that from my friend Heather. Isn't that the best thing ever? It's almost like you have a license to throat punch whoever you want, but only on Thursdays. Anyway, welcome to Storytime with Shelley. I am Shelley. Today's story is going to be the famous fairy tale, the story of Beauty and the Beast. Ooh, the Beast. Once upon a time, as a merchant set off for market, he asked each of his 3 daughters what she would like as a present on his return. The first wanted a brocade dress, fancy dress. I don't know how to even pronounce that word, but whatever. A fancy dress. The second, a pearl necklace. But the third, whose name was Beauty. Okay, that's a great name to give a little kid. What if she was actually ugly? That would suck. But anyway, her name was Beauty. She was the youngest, prettiest, because her name was Beauty, and sweetest of them all. And she said to her father, "All I'd like is a rose you've picked especially for me." When the merchant had finished his business, he set off for home. However, a sudden storm blew up. Yeah, storm. Could you tell? Did I do it well? Whoo, stormy, baby. Anyway, the horse could hardly make headway in the howling gale. Ooh, cold and weary, the merchant had lost all hope of reaching an inn, when suddenly he noticed a bright shining light in the middle of a wood. As he drew near, he saw that it was a castle, bathed in light. "I hope I'll find shelter there for the night," he said to himself. He talked to himself a lot, apparently, that old fella. When he reached the door, he saw it was open. But though he shouted, nobody came to greet him. Still having issues with the flippin' hair. Damn it! Just 1 second. La, 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 la. Hello. How do I look now? Anyway, as I was saying, though he said hello, no one came to greet him. So he just went in because the door was open, right? Because that's what people do normally. But he was cold and he was lost, so he did. Anyway, plucking up the courage, he went inside, still calling out to attract attention. On the table, in the main hall, was a splendid dinner. Yum. The merchant lingered, still shouting for the owner of the castle, but no one came. So the starving merchant sat down and had a hearty meal. Yum, 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 yum. Nom, 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 nom. Overcome by curiosity, he ventured upstairs, where the corridor led into magnificent rooms and halls. A fire crackled in the first room, and a soft bed looked very inviting. It was now late, and the merchant could not resist. He lay down on the bed and fell fast asleep. Oh, freak, now I'm tired. Shouldn't have done that. When he woke the next morning, an unknown hand had placed a mug of steaming coffee and some fruit by his bedside. The merchant had breakfast, and after tidying himself up, he went downstairs to thank his generous host. But as on the evening before, there was nobody in sight. Shaking his head in wonder at the strangeness of it all, he went towards the garden where he had left his horse tethered to a tree. Suddenly a large rose bush caught his eye. Remembering his promise to Beauty, he bent down to pick a rose. Instantly out of the rose garden sprang a horrible beast wearing splendid clothes. Wah, you're an ugly beast, but man, I love your outfit, baby. Woo! Nice suit. The bloodshot eyes gleaming angrily glared at him, and a deep, terrifying voice growled, "Ungrateful man!" Do you like my deep, terrifying voice? Ha ha ha! I gave you shelter at my I gave you shelter. You ate at my table and slept in my own bed. But now, all the thanks I get is the theft of my favorite flowers. I shall put you to death for this. Trembling with fear, the merchant fell on his knees before the beast. Forgive me, forgive me! Oh, I'm so sorry, don't kill me, don't kill me! I'll do anything you say. The rose wasn't for me, it was for my beautiful daughter, Beauty. I bet Beauty doesn't have trouble with her hair like this. Maybe I have to stop being so dramatic with my head movements. But when you're this cute and your hair just flops around like this so much. Anyway, back to the story. Sorry. Squirrel. Squirrel. There's no squirrels in here. Okay. The beast dropped the paw it had clamped on the unhappy merchant. I shall spare your life, but on one condition. You must bring me your daughter. The terror-stricken merchant, faced with certain death if he did not obey, promised that he would do so. When he reached home in tears, his 3 daughters ran to greet him. Daddy! Daddy! After he had told them of his dreadful adventure, Beauty put his mind at rest immediately. Dear father, I'd do anything for you. Don't worry. You'll be able to keep your promise. The merchant hugged his daughter as she said, take me to the castle. I promise I will stay there in your place. I would do anything to save your life. I never did doubt your love for me. For the moment, I can only thank you for saving my life, said Beauty's father. So Beauty was led to the castle. The beast, however, had quite an unexpected greeting for the girl. Instead of menacing doom, as it had done with her father, it was surprisingly pleasant. Oh, Jesus, house is noisy today. Did you hear that? Somebody's torturing the poor cat. Oh. In the beginning, Beauty was frightened of the beast and shuddered at the sight of it. Then she found that in spite of the monster's awful head, her horror of it was gradually fading. As time went by and she got to know him, she had one of the finest rooms in all of the castle and sat for hours embroidering in front of the fire. And the beast would sit for hours on end only a short distance away, reading silently and gazing at her. That's kind of creepy. He just sat there and looked at her. Awkward much? Give your head a shake. Take a picture and it'll last longer. Then the beast started to say a few kind words, till in the end, Beauty was amazed to discover that she was actually enjoying its conversation. The days passed, and Beauty and the beast became good friends. Then one day, the beast asked the girl to be his wife. Okay. Taken by surprise, Beauty did not know what to say. Marry such an ugly monster? She would rather die. But she did not want to hurt the feelings of one who, after all, had been kind to her. And she remembered, too, that she owed it her own life as well as her father's. Well, for starters, she should probably stop calling him it. That's a sure way to a happy marriage right there. Oh, honey, come here. Huh, take, I really can't say yes, she began shakily. I'd like to so much. The beast interrupted her with an abrupt gesture. I quite understand. I'm not offended by your refusal. Life went on as usual, and nothing further was said. One day the beast presented Beauty with a magnificent magic mirror. When Beauty peeped into it, she could see her family. Oh, look, there's my dad. There's my two sisters who aren't pretty, so they didn't get picked. They're freaking sisters. Anyway, she saw her family far away. You won't feel so lonely now, said the beast. Beauty stared for hours at her distant family. She missed them so much. Then one day she began to feel worried. The beast found her weeping in front of the mirror. What's wrong? He asked. My father is gravely ill and close to dying. Oh, how I wish I could be there for him, to see him again before it's too late. But the beast only shook his head. No, you will never leave this castle. And off he stalked in a rage. However, a little bit later he returned and spoke solemnly to the girl. If you swear that you will return here in 7 days' time, I'll let you go visit your father. Beauty threw herself at the beast's feet in delight. I swear I will. Oh, how kind you are. You've made a loving daughter so happy. In reality, the merchant had fallen ill from a broken heart, knowing his daughter was being kept prisoner. When he embraced her again, he was soon on the road to recovery. Beauty stayed beside him for hours on end, describing her life at the castle and explaining that the beast was really good and kind. Who knew? Who knew? The days flashed by, and at last the merchant was able to leave his bed. However, Beauty had failed to notice that 7 days had gone by. Then one day she woke from a terrible nightmare. She had dreamt that the beast was dying and calling to her, twisting in agony.
Oh, oh, Beauty, come back, Beauty.
Come back to me, it was bleating. The solemn promise she had made drove her to leave her home immediately. I gotta get back there. Oh! Hurry, hurry, good horse, she said, whipping her steed onwards toward the castle. Afraid that she might arrive too late, she rushed up the stairs calling, but there was no reply. Her heart in her mouth. I bet you that tasted good. Beauty ran into the garden, and there crouched the beast, its eyes shut as though dead. Beauty threw herself at it and hugged it tightly, again with the it. Don't die, don't die, I'll marry you. At these words, a miracle took place. The beast's ugly snout turned magically into the face of a handsome young man. Oh, how I've been longing for this moment, he said. I was suffering in silence and couldn't tell you my frightful secret. An evil witch turned me into a monster, and only the love of a maiden, willing to accept me as I was, could transform me back into my real self. My dearest, I'll be so happy if you'll marry me. The wedding took place shortly after, and from that day on, the young prince would have nothing but roses in his gardens, and that's why to this day the castle is known as the Castle of the Rose.
Blah.
What a great story. What a lovely love story. I didn't gag at all. Blah, blah. Wonderful. Yeah, so she married the prince. Now she's a princess, etc., etc. Cool, 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 cool. Anyway, that's all for me for today. Again, story time with Shelley. I am Shelley. Shelley. Woo, look, there's my eye. Ah! Ah! Anyway, don't forget, subscribe, like, don't comments, send me a message to say, hey, how's it hanging? Anyway, have a great Thursday night. Throat punch who you will. Not that I'm condoning that, because I'm not. Love to y'all. Mwah, 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 mwah. And, Shelley,